Way back in 1868, the Civil War had ended, and the founding fathers decided that the slaves, or the former slaves, needed to be made citizens. So what they did, they got together and said, you know what? We're going to have to write a new amendment to our Constitution. Back then, well, there were 13, but they said, no, we got to start number 14. The problem was doing an amendment is not easy. It takes 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, 2/3 of the states to all ratify it. That could take a long time. But back in 1868, the Republican Party, and a lot of folks don't realize, the Republican Party started right before the Civil War. The first Republican was a fellow by the name of Abraham Lincoln. That's right, the Republican Party didn't exist before that. He was the first member of the party. And after the Civil War ended, you had the Republican Party and the Democrats. Well, getting that 14th Amendment through wasn't easy, but eventually they got it done. And it was intended for one thing, to take the slaves and say, you are citizens. However, today, well, there's a problem going on because the Supreme Court says, well, the thing is, you can't do it. The Constitution says that, people in here need to become, they're citizens if they're born here. That's the interpretation they're working. If you're born in America, you are officially a citizen. Well, now they're trying to figure out how to do that in Congress. Senator Jim Banks has introduced a new law that would say we're going to rectify things going on in the 14th Amendment. I do not, if it passes, I do not think it'll work because, once again, the Supreme Court will say, that law, Constitution says, here's the deal. Laws don't make any difference against the Constitution. But another gentleman, another senator by the name of Rand Paul has already introduced a new amendment to the Constitution to modify the 14th Amendment and to make it so, you have to be born here and you have to be from somebody that's here. You got to be a natural born citizen of someone else who's already a citizen. That's pretty much the plain, simple way to put it. But will this amendment that Rand Paul is promoting, will it pass Congress? It's going to be very difficult, folks. The Democrats don't want this to pass because, it affects their voting base. And it's going to be a tough nut to crack because you've got to have 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate. Trying to get 2/3 of the Senate is now like trying to pull teeth from a buffalo. And getting 2/3 of the House, remember, pretty much divided up in the House. And then you got to go to all the states and get 2/3 of the states to ratify it. And there's probably some states out there that probably say no. Just depends on how they think about a change of policy. So where we stand today is, yes, there's a new amendment on the floor to a constitutional amendment from Senator Rand Paul. Will it pass? Folks, that is going to be one of the most difficult pieces of legislation that I have ever possibly seen. It's going to be a battle down to the death. And I hate to use that word, but that's where it's going to be. And now, you know.